Audio Jungle.
Breaking news. As you know, Queen Elizabeth I has been supporting the Dutch Protestant rebels in order to stop Philip II from persecuting them. Our Queen believes in religious freedom from the Protestants and rightfully tried to protect them from the harsh inquisitions happening back in Spain. This support angered the Spanish and led to the creation of the Spanish Armada by Philip II. The fleet featured 130 galleons and 30,000 men out to attack our nation. Our raids on the Spanish commerce and competition for trade and expansion in the New World has also increased the tension with the Spanish and is believed to be another reason for their attempted attacks here in England. Now for our first segment, we have an exclusive interview with Queen Elizabeth I and King Philip II. Let's roll the video. Great to have you here, Miss Queen Elizabeth.
Thanks for having me.
How do you feel about Spain?
I think that Spain is a respectable country, but it has some leadership issues and wrong ideals about what religion should be.
How do you feel about King Philip II?
Despite being flattered by his proposal, I don't think he's a good person because he wrongfully persecuted the Protestants and he thinks that he has a right to come in and attack my country.
What do you believe England is fighting this war for?
I believe England is fighting this war to protect our people and the rights of Protestants and also to continue expanding trade networks.
Do you believe the Spanish fleet is superior?
Absolutely not. The English Navy is the best in the world. I was fighting in the Spanish Netherlands on the side of the rebels to protect the rights of the Protestants there. If we were to lose, we would come under the rule of the Spanish and their culture and Catholic beliefs would spread.
What do you believe were some of the biggest accomplishments for England in the war?
I believe that in terms of defensive feats, our use of long-range guns against the Spanish was really important, and in terms of offensive strategies, Sir Francis Drake's raid on Cadiz was really important, and our use of fire ships.
I need the British Isle under my control because they are a Protestant nation and I believe that they should be brought back under the Roman Catholic beliefs. My plan is to build the Spanish Armada to invade the British shore and secure the English Channel. I think that England would change under my rule because it would be brought back under the classical Roman belief of Catholicism and their maritime empire would cease to expand. I think that Queen Elizabeth is a beautiful woman, but I'm not particularly fond of her because she rejected my marriage proposal and she is helping the Protestant rebels in the Spanish Netherlands. And she went wrong by challenging my power. We've had some problems executing our plan due to not being prepared for England's strong artillery and for problems with supplies, but we will continue to attack. Pope Sixtus V's blessing to begin the enterprise in England is what prompted me to build the Armada.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in...
Now for our next segment, we have a more informative video to give you guys a better idea of the attacks. The defeat of the Spanish Armada, or Spanish fleet, took place from 1587 to 1588. It started with Queen Elizabeth of England's support of Dutch Protestant rebels in the Spanish Netherlands who were rebelling against Catholicism forced by King Philip II of Spain. Queen Elizabeth believed in freedom of religion and King Philip did not. The other cause to these fights was the English raids against Spanish commerce and the competition for trade and expansion in the New World. King Philip planned to invade England and started the building of the Spanish ships. Pope Sixtus V gave Philip his blessing to what they called the Enterprise of England, who wanted to bring England back under the Roman influences and make them Catholic. Their plan was delayed with the raid of supplies led by Sir Francis Drake on the Port Cadiz. He destroyed their cork factories so the Spanish could not preserve their food. On May 19th, the Spanish set sail in Lisbon, Portugal, in hopes of securing the English Channel and transporting the Spanish army to Britain. The Spanish thought they would prevail despite England's faster and better armed ships because of their plan to board the English ships with use of planks and utilize their superior infantry. Storms pushed the fleet back to Spain, not letting them reach the southern coast of England until July 19th, at which point the English were prepared for them. On July 21st, the English took advantage of their long-range heavy guns by bombarding the 7-mile-long line of Spanish ships with them from a safe distance, thinning the fleet. On July 27th, the Spanish moored off Calais, France, which was an unprotected area, and planned to launch but not having control of the English Channel made the trip futile. 2 days later, the English sent 8 burning ships into the crowded Port Calais at midnight, forcing the panicked Spanish ships to cut their anchors and sail away to avoid catching fire. Spanish were attacked off Gravelines by the English while disorganized and out of formation. The English won the battle with their guns, making the Spanish retreat to Scotland in the north. The English Navy followed them there until they turned back needing supplies. With no supplies and being hurt by storms, the Armada sailed around Scotland and Ireland back to Spain. Some damaged Armada's ships sank in the sea and some wrecked on the shores of Ireland. The surviving fleet arrived in Spain in October with half of the Armada lost and 15,000 men dead. Over the years, Spain tried attacking multiple more times, but never succeeded. The effects of the Spanish Armada battles with the English Navy were very extensive. It created a tense relationship between the two countries, which would not be resolved until the Somerset House Conference under the rule of King James. Due to their victory, the British were able to expand their trade and exchange networks and gained world power. The British also introduced new weaponry that was long-ranged into naval warfare. Unlike the British, these attacks harmed the Spanish by heavily draining their bank accounts, causing them to have to raise their taxes on the Spanish people. Sums up today's daily news. Tune in tomorrow for an explanation of what makes British tea the best. This is Julia Sonis, signing off.